Hey guys, bad news for Tinubu as three powerful lawyers drop bombshell about 2023 presidential election review game changer for Peter Obi. Hello everyone, welcome back to Prospect Channel TV. Thank you for always coming out here. If you are just joining us, please kindly subscribe and don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Thank you. Reactions to the presidential election of February 25th have persisted, particularly in the wake of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the candidate for president of the ruling All Progressive Congress (APC), being declared the winner and declared president-elect by Professor Mahmood Yakubu, the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC), on March 1st. In light of this, two well-known lawyers have sided with Chief Olisa Bakuba San, the former president of the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA), on the issue of needing to win the presidential election by obtaining 25% of the votes in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), as speculated in Section 134, 1B and 2 of the 1999 Constitution. Speaking on Arise TV, Bakoba named the two concerns as possible obstacles to Bola Tinubu's declaration as the victor of the February 25th presidential election. He cited Section 134(2) of the Nigerian Constitution, which outlines the requirement to be satisfied before a presidential election winner is proclaimed, and Section 35 of the Electoral Act of 2022 as amended, which prohibits candidates from running for two positions at the same time. He clarified that the two stands are very distinct and unambiguous, and that the tribunal can decide cases that are brought before them without spending much time debating them. 134(2) it applies literally because the rule of interpretation says if you read something and it is so clear to you, then you don't need to interpret it. The thing says you must win a quarter of the vote in 2/3 of 36 states. And then what do you want to say? The answer is obvious. He responded, I have just broken it down. When the presenter published them to do so, I have broken it down. You want to put words in my mouth which I won't accept. It is so simple. You get a quarter of the vote of 24 states. That is what the law says, which is 24. So that is one part of it. It goes on to say, and what does that mean? And the FCT. So as far as I am concerned, you must also win 25% in the FCT. He objected not to further buttress on the constitutional agreement because he would be passing judgment on the evidence the tribunal will hear. So we think the tribunal can answer this question quite easily in 1 hour. That is my point. Quite easily. It is not a difficult question to resolve, he explained. Before the general elections, Agbakuba wrote to INEC to ask for clarification on its stance regarding the proper application of the provision. Amobi Zolo, a constitutional attorney, agreed with Agbakuba's stance and called the problem a thinking time bomb. Section 134 of the 1999 Constitution, which set forth the condition that a presidential contender must satisfy in order to become president of Nigeria, is a time bomb, according to Barrister Nzalu, Nzelu, I beg your pardon. The learned think urge that this part of the law is explicit enough to state whether or not Abuja is included in the Federal Capital Territory (FCT), which is required for a candidate to win two-thirds of the vote. For instance, to be declared a winner of the presidential election, a candidate must win a quarter of votes in 24 states, which makes up the two-thirds, as well as the FCT or without the FCT. Does this mean that the Federal Capital Territory Abuja is incorporated in the 24 states? Or does it mean the presidential candidate must also score not less than one quarter of the votes cast at the election at the Federal Capital Territory Abuja? He asked. Can a candidate that scored not less than one quarter of the votes cast at the election in 36 states of the Federation but fails to score one quarter of the votes cast at the election at the Federal Capital Territory be duly elected as President of Nigeria? This is a serious matter and is a time bomb because somebody can win in other states but may not win in the FCT. I think the issue needs to be cleared by INEC, he declared. There is no question that the provisions of Section 134 2B of the Constitution are rooted in mathematics, according to Professor of Law and Human Rights Advocate Professor Mike Uzekome. A winning presidential contender must receive not less than one quarter of the votes of the election in each of at least two-thirds of all the states in the federation and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja, according to the Sun, in accordance with Section 134 2B of the Constitution. He emphasized the word "and" in the combination. As lawyers, we should not shy away from embarking on this mathematical pathway to resolve the steaming controversy. Yes, mathematics is part of the lawyer's job in resolving disputes, and Nigerian courts are not strangers to mathematical judgments. After all, the 1979 presidential election involving Shagari and Awolowo was woefully litigated, won and lost on the basis of the Supreme Court's mathematical interpretation of what amounted then to 2/3 of then 19 states of the Federation. The Supreme Court is delivering a judgment in favor of Shagari, ruled that the requirement of votes to win the presidential election was 25% in 12 states and no more. It culturally avoided the attendant functionalization of Kano State so as to avoid absolutely in interpretation. It is my considered opinion that the scope of consideration of the FCT Abuja as a state only applies to the enjoyment and the vesting of executive, legislative, and judiciary powers by relevant bodies in the FCT. It does not apply to all matters, extent, and for all purposes. Okay, guys, I'm dropping it here. Kindly share your thoughts below the comment.